This is central Tokyo on a Sunday morning. It is the meeting place for the new wave of Japanese. Individuals who refuse to conform to the traditional society. It is all very far removed from the strict upbringing most Japanese children receive. A mother prepares her child for another day at school. But even for young children, life at school can be very tough. In this kindergarten, the Hikari school, children are already being taught relatively advanced English and mathematics.
I'm shy.
Life at this school, like many others, is very demanding on these young children.
Everybody stand up, please. Stand up.
They are made to run around half naked in winter and summer. Mentally and physically, these children are already being prepared for future careers.
In Japanese, there is an expression, the nail that sticks out is hammered down. So people who really want to be different can't survive in an Asian society. So it's rather difficult for artists and eccentrics to survive in this country. That's why there are so many Japanese artists living in New York or Brussels or Paris or London. From elementary school, they're often pushed to studying, and they have extra classes after school so that they can go to a better middle school, so they can go to a better high school, so they can go to the best university. So when they graduate, they can get a job in one of the more prestigious companies. So it's really what you call précitant in French. It's terribly competitive, and a lot of children crack up under the pressure, and there are a lot of negative things that happen, like bullying, and children who can't cope with the studying.
Last year, our son killed himself. He was being bullied in school. He tried to fight it, but in the end, he gave up. His heart was broken, and he chose death. We never knew that he suffered that much. He never showed us anything. He was a proud boy. Probably he would have lost a lot of face if he had told us. His friends never saw it coming either. Some friend told me the news. He called me. At first I couldn't believe it. I thought he was lying. Then the next day I heard it really did happen. I was very upset. Why did he commit suicide? Well, he'd changed schools and didn't have many friends there. He was lonely and was being bullied, and he couldn't cope with it all. Is it difficult then when you have no friends and you have to change school? I've changed schools a lot myself. In the beginning, I was always worried about whether I'd have any friends. It's quite a relief when you finally get a friend, but you're sad if you can't find any. These problems and traumas are far from the minds of most Japanese families. These twin daughters go to the Hikari kindergarten. The children are encouraged to spend their days without a top so that they are hardened against the cold. They just rub each other to keep warm if need be.
When I first came here, I was really surprised that the children were running around in shorts, and outside the weather was really bad. It was sleeting, and I was bundled up with lots of sweaters and a cardigan, and all these naked children came into the classroom, and I said, where are their clothes?
This practice of making the kids study half naked may well be peculiar to this school. But the equally crazy idea that a child has to memorize everything is widely accepted. A child is not creative. That's rubbish. A child's drawing may produce a strong emotional feeling in adults. Just because a child draws spontaneously large and uses lots of colours. But a child can't lay anything of itself into the drawing. You ask too much of the child if you want him to use his creativity.
I would say there's not a lot of character building because, of course, it's a question of time. So the Japanese have to learn a lot to read, which is one of the reasons that they're trying to teach them to do that in this school, because small children have much better memories. So I think it's absolutely dreadful. If I had a child and when they grew up they were a labourer, or they worked in a factory, or they don't have to be university professors. You know, I don't think that's the most important thing. I think the most important thing is character.
Thank you very much.
When my daughter first started school, she kept on falling ill, and of course I was worried. But she hasn't had this problem since, and there is this special prize. Children who walk around in their bare belly from November to February get a certificate. It's only paper, but the children are very happy with it. Last year my daughter saw this, and now she wants one as well, whatever the cost. Now every day she goes into school with a bare belly. Bullying is a big problem nowadays, but I think it is wrong to say that it's the fault of the educational system. The cause has to be looked at home, I think. The mothers at this school are rather severe, but lately many mothers can't manage the discipline they need to bring up their children at home. This traditional authoritarian approach suppresses the child's emotions. Ken Hirano's school never even told the children about his suicide. On the day of his suicide, bullies spread margarine all over his table. In the 3 days before his burial, the school didn't say anything. We only found out about this in the newspaper. When we asked the school, only then did they even acknowledge what really happened. The school never took it seriously. I have to wonder whether they realise that their role is to educate people. We have not heard anything about the bullies, the children that spread the margarine. In fact, we don't even know who did it. Almost every day, we receive threats over the phone. It's over now, but for 4 months we received calls. It remained silent at the other end of the line. Or they would say, leave this town. Even children would do it.
この町から出て行け。そういう電話いろいろありました。子供からのいたずら電話ももちろんありました。
How are you? I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine, thank you. How are you? I'm fine too. さあ、一緒に歌ってみましょう。Let's sing together. Hello, hello. How are you? How are you? I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine, thank you. How are you? I'm fine too.
It's very hard for teachers to realise what is going on in their classrooms and root out bullying. They simply have too many pupils.
My name is In high schools, it's about 40 to 1 or 50 to 1, which is a ridiculous ratio. The teacher very often doesn't know the children's names.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 rounds.
Cram schools are very onerous on the parents as they're very expensive, very time-consuming for the children. So they don't have a lot of time to enjoy themselves with their friends. So the way they enjoy themselves with their friends at the moment is going to cram school with their friends and then maybe going to McDonald's and having a Coca-Cola and doing their homework together. So it isn't really a lot of fun being a teenager, even with all the distractions that seem to be offered to teenagers. It isn't really so wonderful.
Look here. Okay. Cheese. Thank you. Madoka Mori teaches the Hikari kindergarten. It was a long and hard road she travelled to get here. Even in the first year at school, I had to study for entrance examinations to get into the next year. I had to take evening classes when some of my friends were playing. I took classes from 4 in the afternoon till midnight, even during the Christmas and summer holidays. It is 9:45 in the evening. These children are at a late night cram school to get through the vital entrance exams. Even the teachers see that the Japanese educational system fails to provide room for the individual, artistic or unusual children.
I think many Japanese students have lost their identities. It's a very sad thing, I think. It was caused by Japanese education now. For today, many Japanese teachers teaches only studying by the desk and don't teach other interesting things in life.
アメリカやヨーロッパで
Do you know what children do in Europe or the States after 5 p.m?
国の人々が何をするか知ってますか?
Playing, maybe?
Hey! 先日も完全自殺マニュアルというベストセラーがあ
Not
った
so long ago,
それを見
a
て
boy in the second
素直に
grade
自殺してしまっ
committed
た
suicide
中学生のニュー
after
スがありました
reading
ね
a suicide
やはり
manual.
自殺をしてしまうというのは
They
その
commit
死について
suicide because they
死の
don't
怖
know
さ
the fear of
要する
death
に日
yet.
本というのは
Japan isn't afraid of attacks by foreign countries. Children no longer have that sense of danger. If they hit someone, they don't realize they can hurt someone. Nobody loves you. There is a saying, you see, but you pretend not to see, which means one wants to keep away from danger and problems. Everybody still acts as if nothing happened. Adults too. However, some parents are starting to see the potential signs of bullying. My son goes to kindergarten, and he is a bit of a gang leader. He's very expressive and hasn't had much patience. In this class, there's a rather shy girl. If he doesn't understand her, he takes away her toys, just like that. He even hit her a couple of times. Then I was really mad at him. Bullies always pick on someone weaker than themselves. They'll never pick on someone stronger or smarter. Children who lag behind in their studies often resort to this kind of violence, normally against someone physically weaker than themselves. In Japan, the mentality of the group works this way. They bully people smaller than themselves or those working underneath them. Miss Nagasaki leads one of the few organizations dedicated to solving the problem of bullying and suicides. Bullying, we should never allow it. All parents in Japan should stand up against it. But at the moment, they won't, because they're afraid. They're afraid it might have consequences on the exam results of their children. They simply don't dare make any changes or participate in any firm action. The parents know that in the past 10 years, nothing has changed, but they're afraid of the consequences. Children can't say anything, but neither do the parents. And so everything just stays the same. Let's build together our future. Everybody has to work together for this. Today, Mrs. Nagasaki visits the school where Kun had classes. Time upon time, she has tried to talk to the head and the teachers on the problem of bullying and suicide. Until now, she's had no success. Can we make an appointment with you? No, I'm sorry. The headmaster's not here. Not only the media gets this answer, but parents as well. Look, I hope you're friendlier with the parents or the families. Well, look, that's your opinion, but the headmaster's not here. So you'll have to set another appointment some other time. It's always like this. It's so difficult. That's why we're here today. So when will the headmaster be back? Not today. But where is he today? Is he out of the province? But he will return,
一
won't
回
he?
はこちらに戻られますよね。
Not
じゃあそのま
today.
ま自宅ですか？
You go straight home?
ご自宅の方に戻られる。
The vice said as well.
京都先生もですか？
Today, Mrs. Nagasaki didn't get beyond the door, but she keeps on fighting.
私の子供がいじめに
My
遭いまし
child was
て、
bullied
私は
too.
子供の姿
From
を
my
通し
personal
て
experience, I've seen that it takes
PTA
everyone to
学校
help solve the
親
problem of
地
bullying.
域、社
Schools,
会、すべ
parents,
てがこのい
and
じめ
society
問
in
題で
general should all work together to
解
solve
決して
it.
いかなければ、日本の
Otherwise, the
将来
future of
も
Japan
日
looks
本
very
の子
grim
供たち
indeed.
の人間としても心が失われてしまうということで。